Sandiego.
Where is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego, where on earth can she be? Tell me where is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego, where on earth can she be? Where on earth can she be? Pretty tall Lisa, Timbuktu, can you help us find a good love? Where is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego, where on earth can she be? Where on earth can she be?
Внимание! Внимание! Прорыв в секторе 3!
Это Кармен Сандиего!
Кармен Сандиего в секторе 7!
Кармен Сандиего в секторе 12!
Timing is everything.
Кармен использует приманку!
You have 10 seconds, Carmen.
Она должна быть здесь! Сюда! Сюда! Иди сюда! Give up when you're ready, Carmen. Time is on our side.
Неправда, господа. Time is on my side.
I'll find out what you're up to, Carmen, and shut you down for good.
Impossible, player. Because now I'm off to steal something that doesn't even exist. And you'll never catch me in time.
The chief's been online with international security for hours.
Whatever Carmen ripped off has every country from China to Canada in a panic.
And she told the player she's off to steal something that doesn't even exist, whatever that means.
Okay, listen up, Seamuses. Or is it Shamai? Well, this is big. Last night, Carmen Sandiego hit a top-secret Russian research lab.
What did she steal, Chief?
I can't.
What's she gonna do with it?
I can't tell you. It's top secret.
Well, where'd she go, Chief?
I can't.
Tell us.
It's top secret.
Nope, I can't figure that out.
Well, what can you tell us?
Only that if you don't catch Carmen and return the stolen... Okay. Anyway, this AM, Carmen's main brain, Professor Cerebellum, was casing out the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. It could be our only lead to what Carmen's up to.
Then C5 us to Boston, Massachusetts, player, and hold the New England clam chowder.
This is some of the silver crafted by that famous American patriot, Paul Revere, who lived right here in Boston over 200 years ago. And he was a very important part of our American Revolution.
Cerebellum and Fortune Hunter.
Why do I get the feeling they're not chaperoning this kindergarten field trip?
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow once wrote this famous poem about Paul. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere on the 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year.
Ivy! What's going on?
What happened? Where'd it go? It disappeared.
Come on! fortune.
What the heck's that flag on the State House?
That's strange. It's the Queen of England's royal standard. They fly it wherever she goes.
I didn't know the Queen was visiting Boston. Whoa!
Zach, hang on! Take over, little bro! Whoa!
Is she okay?
She won't be slam dancing for a while, but she's fine. We've got to find out how they made Paul Revere's Liberty Bowl just vanish like that.
These must be the top secret Russian documents Carmen stole last night. Experiments with speed of light? Why would she want these?
Player, info scan speed of light.
The speed of light is, surprise, the rate at which light travels. Now, I know, it seems like you just turn on a light, and boing, there it is. But that's because light travels at almost 700 million miles an hour. We're talking over 7 trips around the Earth in 1 second.
Think of the frequent flyer miles.
Chief, are you okay?
I'm fine, I'm fine.
I just can't seem to control this ballet accent slithering all over the place.
Look, I'll do a systems check. Back after these messages. Tally-ho, sorry.
Hey, my favorite scientist, Albert Einstein.
Zach, didn't Einstein believe if something was able to go at an extremely high speed, like, say, the speed of light,
That it would get real heavy and time would even slow down. Yeah, that's part of his famous theory of relativity, so?
So, what if Professor Cerebellum used this research and found a way to break the speed of light?
Impossible. I mean, if she did that, Carmen would actually travel through time. Whoa, Carmen has figured out how to time travel. Ivy, look!
Cerebellum was using this to monitor a crime spree through history.
I can't seem to understand what's happening, Bobbies.
I'll tell you what's happening. Carmen's built a time machine.
And what she's stealing back in the 1700s is somehow changing history.
The Queen's flag flying over the Boston State House. Your English accent. Chief, how are we ever going to stop her now and get history back on track?
Actually, Coppers, CrimeNet has suspected Carmen might try something like this for quite some time.
What? Why didn't you tell us?
I couldn't
Tell you it's top secret.
Right you are.
I give you Acme's newest secret weapon against time crime. The Chrono Skimmer. Named it myself. You just punch in a date and destination and...
Crikey, that's where you'll end up.
Hey, look, Chief, if you think I'm going hip-hopping through the ages with this oversized garage door opener, you're...
Give me that. Chief, if you need us, we'll be visiting Paul Revere in 1775.
I say, that's smashing of you.
And we'll see if we can't clear up your accent.
Hey, Bunker Hill!
Yep. Site of one of the first battles of the American Revolution on June 17th, 1775.
But didn't the fight really start on nearby Breed's Hill, Chief?
Well, it started on Breed's here, but wound up on Bunker Hill here when the colonists ran out of ammo.
The Chrono Skimmer works! We've gone back in time, Zach!
This is really Boston, 1775?
Huh?
Colonial rebels, seize them!
I don't believe this!
Run! Well, believe it, little bro! We're about to join the American Revolution!
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote a poem that begins, "Listen, my children, and you shall hear." Can you finish this line? Longfellow's poem begins, "Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere."
They flew that way, Commander. We'll collar their colonial rebels.
How come the colonists aren't standing up to those redcoats?
I'm so sorry. Let me help you with that silver. Mr. Paul Revere Silversmith?
Ex-silversmith, you mean?
Zach, it's Paul Revere. We're face to face with one of the most famous heroes of the American Revolution.
Who are you? What are you? Witches? Are you witches?
Dude, we're definitely not witches. But she can throw some pretty major attitude, full moon or no.
Zach!
Traitor! Huh? We trusted you. It was your responsibility to warn us the British were coming.
And you fell off your horse.
I've told it, neighbors. My horse stumbled and I with him. I could not warn the colonists as I promised.
Zach, Paul Revere never made his famous midnight ride to warn the colonists the British were coming.
That explains why America's turning British in the future.
Without Paul Revere's ride, the American Revolution never happened.
We colonists were thoroughly trounced by the British, thanks to my blunder.
I'll bet your triangle hat, Carmen Sandiego, had something to do with it, Paul.
Who?
Never mind. We just have to figure out what she's stolen back here that's affecting history.
Go ahead, Chief.
Toodle pip, peelers. What does that mean? Well, Carmen sent us a clue, mates. I'll C5 it.
What black conjuring is this? Ah! I knew you to be witches! But I have enough trouble without being hanged for consorting with the likes of you!
Boy, some hero he turns out to be.
He is a hero, Zach, but everything's all screwed up because of Carmen. Now, we've got to find her, catch her, and return whatever she's stolen in order to make things right again. Great! A golf ball and tee. This is our clue?
There's a note. Find the missing link or never get off the ground. Missing link?
Player, info scan missing link.
The missing link describes a creature or development which some scientists believe would link primitive forms of man to our more advanced, modern dude, man.
What does all this have to do with the American Revolution, Zach? Think, what else could the golf ball and tee stand for?
Wait a minute. What if Carmen's not talking about a golf tee?
What then?
What if our missing link in this clue is tea that helped get the American Revolution off the ground?
You think Carmen's planning to steal tea from the Boston Tea Party?
It fits her MO of stealing things that don't exist in the future, Ivy.
Well, we haven't got anything else. It's worth a shot.
Chrono Skimmer, do your stuff. Get us to the Boston Harbor on December 16th, 1773.
Don't sit on your crumpets, crime dogs. You're chrono skimming to one of the most infamous events in American history, the Boston Tea Party. Boston's home of the Old North Church, Faneuil Hall, that was the fave hangout for American patriots during the Revolution.
This is the Old South Meeting House, Ivy.
There's Samuel Adams and John Hancock getting the colonists ready to raid the tea ships.
The unfair tax on that tea by the King of England shall not be paid by any freedom-loving colonist.
Who knows how tea will mingle with salt water?
We can do no more to save our country.
Some of them are disguised as Indians. They're gonna throw the tea into the harbor just like they're supposed to.
Well, if they're not afraid of the redcoats, they'll never let Carmen get in the way. Come on!
Hurry up, Pearl. Carmen's ready to haul anchor. Put on these Dutch studs and let's head out to the open sea.
Look, there's a redcoat aboard.
That's no redcoat.
That's Carmen Sandiego.
Sorry to break up your little tea party, detectives. Sayonara.
Why did the American colonists dump shipments of English tea into the Boston Harbor? The Boston Tea Party was a protest against unfair taxation by the King of England.
The redcoats! We can't be seen here.
They'll think we stole the ships!
The colonists are doomed.
It isn't supposed to be happening this way. Where would Carmen hide that tea?
And why were her henchmen dressed in Dutch clothing last night?
Well, the British and the Dutch were great trading rivals in the 1700s. Player, info scan.
Great Britain and Holland, also known as the Netherlands, which is also known as Holland, fought for years over control of the seaways, the key to trade in the 1700s.
One famous Dutch admiral even flew a broom at his masthead to boast that he would sweep the British from the sea.
Wait a minute, Zach. Didn't Carmen say sayonara when she left?
Yeah, that's a Japanese salutation that means kind of see you later.
InfoScan Japanese trade in 1773.
By 1773, Japan hadn't allowed a single foreigner in the country for 134 years, on the threat of death. No tourism board here. However, some traders were let into Nagasaki on a very limited basis, but only if they agreed to make fools of themselves in front of everyone, deny their religion, and pay rent in highly valued peppercorns. And get this, the only ones allowed into Japan were the Dutch.
Bingo! That's why Carmen's henchmen were disguised as Dutch traders last night.
She must be on her way to Japan with that tea. Let's blaze, sis.
Hold on very tight, please. Next stop, the island country of Japan, circa 1773.
I was hoping we'd put down somewhere a little less public.
Oh, 外国人だ.
Run!
Guess we should have got Acme to spring for some Dutch disguises.
私たちはホランド人です。貿易船で来たのだ。Somersault like your life depends on it, because it does. Just be getting back with the other foolish Dutch traders.
Nice touch using the pond, Zach. Gee, wish I'd done that.
It could be arranged.
Doesn't look like Carmen's here.
At least the tea is still aboard. But where in time is she now?
Poor Richard's Almanac. Hey, Benjamin Franklin wrote this almanac.
The Benjamin Franklin?
Yep, he was an inventor, a philosopher, statesman, writer. If anyone from this era is a match for Carmen Sandiego, it would be Ben Franklin.
And look, this page is turned down. 1752.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's chronoskim to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1752 and see if Carmen's paying Ben Franklin a visit.
Look, there's Ben Franklin now.
He's doing his famous experiment to see if lightning contains electricity.
Woman, I say, what's the meaning of this?
Come in, Chief. Come in. We've got Carmen red-handed.
Here comes alarm, alarm, system warning, all over the system, fair weather, failure.
Chief, go to auxiliary power!
It's no use, Ivy. By stealing Ben Franklin's key, Carmen stopped his research.
Come back this instant, whoever you are.
And change the development of all technology that came afterwards. Come on, if we don't get that key back, there'll be no more computers. And without Acme's mainframe,